Hi everybody, it's Julie from Revive. I'm making this video for people that are suffering with neck pain and headaches, and or someone that you might know that is suffering with neck pain and or shoulder and headache pain. Um, my background is in sports physiotherapy, and I have been practicing physiotherapy for 40 years. And over the years, I've seen many patients suffering with upper back, neck, um, headaches, and associated sometimes shoulder pain. So these things often come together in a bit of a cluster. So it's often not just a neck; it's sometimes neck and headache, sometimes neck and shoulder. But today, I just want to talk to you about some things that you can do at home that are simple things that give you a little bit of control over the symptoms that you might be experiencing. So sometimes simple things such as changing the way you sleep or the way you sit at your desk height, and managing stress and some other lifestyle factors can make a big difference to neck pain and headache. So we're just going to dive into a few of those simple tools today to give you a few things that you can do for yourself at home. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about today is what you can do at home to help release trigger points, which are often active in the upper traps and the neck muscles, particularly the muscles right at the base of the skull. These muscles can get quite tight, and trigger points are little bands of muscle tissue that sort of go into a fairly constant state of contraction or spasm, and those little tight bands can become very painful and the source of pain, not just where the trigger point is, but will often refer to other areas. So releasing these little tight bands using pressure point therapy at home can be really helpful. So just to help you find the spots that you want to work on here, I've just popped up a bit of anatomy. So the upper trapezius muscle is the one that runs up the side of the neck there that you can see above the shoulder blade. There's usually 3 points along that muscle that are tender and active trigger points. So there are 3 spots that you can try and find and work on. And then further down between your shoulder blades there, another 3 or 4 spots you'll find just to the side of the center of your vertebral column. So into the soft tissues between the side of your shoulder blade and the knobbly bits of your spine, you'll find those 3 or 4 other spots that you can work on there. So when you start using a trigger ball at home, you just want to find a ball that is not going to aggravate your symptoms. So you don't want to go too hard or use a really hard ball if you're new to this. Sometimes starting with a tennis ball can be a little bit kinder than starting out with some of these really hard plastic spiky trigger balls, and you can work up to that. So you can find and you can mess around with different ways to find these spots. But as I've shown there in these 2 pictures, you can lie on the ball and find that spot. And once you find the spot, you just stay there for a few seconds, maybe take a couple of breaths until you feel a little bit of easing of the pain. When you're starting out, sometimes the pain doesn't ease, it just hurts. So don't overdo it. Just go gently with these. The upper trapezius muscle is a bit of a tricky one to get at, but as you can see in the second photo there at the bottom, you can use a ball against a wall and sort of move yourself around so you can get the pressure onto that muscle at the top of your shoulder. So as I said, go easy on these. Don't overdo it because it feels sort of really good when you're releasing a trigger point, but you can have a bit of rebound pain afterwards if you overdo it. So I'd suggest 5 or 6 seconds at most with a ball that is tolerable, working through each spot just once initially, and then build up from there as your tolerance improves. Posture is one of the things that's probably the most difficult to address and change, because we're often immersed in doing something that has taken our attention away from the way we're sitting, or how we're holding our phones, or having our head down and looking at a computer screen for a long time. So adjusting posture, if you can find a little app on your phone or something, set a reminder every 15 minutes or so, just to sort of give you a little bit of a prompt to say, hey, have a think about how you're sitting here. So If you look at the girl on the left there with her phone, you can see how forward positioned her head is. That's putting a lot of strain on her neck and upper back muscles. And just by sort of sitting back and more upright and sitting tall, she's offloaded a lot of those structures. So um, if you are someone that gets immersed in lose yourself in work or whatever you're doing, those little prompts are really helpful. If you can set them up on your phone or even on your computer, that can really be a good tool to help alleviate, your neck pain and even headache. So when we start talking about posture and changing posture, if it's too hard for your body to move into a good posture, it really puts a real block there to making postural change. And one of the things that can really help is improving the mobility through your thoracic spine or your upper back. And there's some fairly easy and simple things that you can do at home to get the movement improved through the part of your spine that sits at the back from the base of your neck down to the bottom of your rib cage. It's called your thoracic spine. So you can do, like I've shown there in this picture, some extension exercises, rolling over a foam roller. That's a difficult place to start if you're just starting out with this stuff. So I would suggest you get a bath towel, roll it up really firmly, so it's still like a roller, but it's not as firm or as high as the foam rollers. And just gently start doing these movements arching your back over the back of these, either a roll towel or a roller. And you can even get the rollers that are cut in half lengthwise, sort of half rollers, which are a little bit easier to start out with as well. Again, you just want to arch back over that, support your head. So make sure you've got your hands clasped behind your head and you're resting the weight of your head in your hands, and you're not using the muscles at the front of your neck to try and hold your head up, because that's just going to aggravate any neck pain that you've got. So a nice relaxed neck, heavy head in hands, and then just dropping yourself over the back of either a roll towel or a roller. I would do this 2, 3, 4 times. Each time you sort of arch backwards, hold it there for a couple of breaths, and then just repeat that through a few times. If you have any increase in symptoms or this makes you feel sore afterwards, I would say just don't do this. If you're just starting out and maybe you haven't been assessed and you're not quite sure whether this is a good one for you, I would say don't, if you're not sure. Another way to help improve movement through that thoracic area is with rotation stretches. And these can be done in sitting on a chair, sitting on the floor, or even just sitting and gently rotating your spine side to side, depending on what your mobility levels are like. These movements couple together. So the twisting of the spine and the movement of the spine into extension or a more upright position are coupled together. So by improving one, you tend to improve the other. And these nice rotation stretches are a good chance to sort of take some deep breaths at the end of the stretch and hold it there for a couple of seconds. And that the breathing also makes your ribs move as you breathe in and out. And that can also help with just the mobility through this naturally stiff part of your spine. It's the thoracic spine's the stiffest part of your spine. And it's where, if movement becomes quite restricted through there, then it puts strain on the neck and the lower back. So either side of your thoracic spine is more sort of at risk of having to take up sort of stress and translation type loads. So rotation is something that you should add to what you're doing at home. So the pec muscles at the front of your shoulder, when you have got neck pain and headaches, there's a good chance that these muscles are going to be tight because you spend a lot of time in that forward poked chin and upper back rounded position. And what happens is your shoulders also move into that sort of forward flexed position, and the pec muscle at the front of your shoulder can become quite tight. And that can also make it difficult to adjust your posture if you're tight through the front of your chest. So I always recommend stretching out your pec muscles. In this picture, we have this stretch being done with a straight arm, but I usually prescribe this with a bent elbow so that your elbow is against the wall and your arm is like a stop sign, and then you're just leaning and twisting away from the side that you're stretching. And that just takes any extra stretch off the nerves that run down through your arm and hand that are probably also going to be a bit tight and restricted. So same stretch as what's in the picture, but do it with a bent elbow. Hold them for about 6 to 10 seconds, 3 or 4 times each side, and then you'll notice quite a difference to just feeling generally looser through your upper back and neck after you've done those. This stretch is another way to help alleviate tension and tightness and pain in your upper trap muscles. Again, another one to just go gently with if you're not used to doing this. And you want to tip your head to the side, gently ease it over there with your other hand. Sometimes sitting on the hand on the stretch side can just hold that side down gently. And then turn your head very slightly to um, the non-stretched side, and then pull your head gently forward and down, and you'll feel a really nice stretch across the top of your shoulder and up through the side of your neck. Again, just go easy with these because you're also stretching nerves, which may be a bit cranky, so you don't want to upset that. Hold them for about 10 seconds, and again, 3 each side. But ease back if that feels like that's too much, and you could just do half a stretch and get used to that positioning, and then ease into that if it seems to be too much. This exercise is looking at doing some strengthening work for that thoracic area because we gain more range, and then we want to make sure that we've got the strength to control our spine through that new range that we've gained through all the stretching that we've done. So this one's done over a Swiss ball. So again, you just need to make sure you keep your head in a neutral position and don't like overextend your head when you come up here with this one. So keeping your nose down towards the ground as you lift up. And it's not to arch the lower back when you do this one, but just to lift your chest and your upper back off the ball. Hold there for a few seconds, repeat about 10 times. It's just a nice, gentle strengthening exercise for the upper back. So probably one of the most important muscle groups for strengthening around the neck sit at the front of the neck. But it's really easy to do these badly and use the wrong muscles. I really do recommend that this is something you need to be taught by a physiotherapist to do this correctly, because you don't want to be strengthening the already tight and overactive, more superficial muscles. We want to get down to what we call the deep neck flexors that sit underneath these superficial muscles at the front. They're a very thin sheeted muscle, and they sit very close to the spine, and they can be a little tricky to sort of find, and you really do need to be shown how to do these exercises. So I haven't added this in as something you can do at home. I do really recommend that if you haven't seen a physio already, to be shown how to activate your deep neck flexors, that you do that. It's an important part of treatment and rehabilitation for neck and headache. So the way you sleep can have a pretty big impact on the health of your neck. I I'm always surprised when I ask people about how they sleep. The number of people that actually do sleep on their fronts. Not good for your neck, because effectively you've got your head turned to one side, and if you use a pillow as well, you're not only turned, you're also pushed back into extension, which is going to make your neck pretty cranky. So if you're a side sleeper, you just want to make sure you've got a pillow that's going to fill in the space between your head and neck and your shoulder. And if you're a back sleeper, you want a flatter pillow. Again, so your head and neck are going to be in a neutral position. So if you are a front sleeper, I'd really encourage you to try and get off your tummy when you're sleeping and try and move into a side sleeping position. And if you're really struggling with that, try putting another pillow between your knees, which will sort of stop you rolling onto your tummy as much. Last but not least, I just wanted to touch on managing stress. Stress, we know, lowers your pain threshold and just makes you more vulnerable to feeling pain, and you can actually hack your body systems by sort of almost tricking your body into believing that there's no imminent danger. And practicing meditation and mindfulness techniques are like any skill. The more you do them, the easier they get. If you're someone that struggles with just doing a stillness meditation and lying and having just letting your mind be free and not sort of focusing on anything for too long, you can try a moving meditation, or download an app that's got some guided meditation, or join a yoga class. There's lots of different ways that you can practice mindfulness, but it's important to let your body and your mind rest occasionally, and it really can help reset your pain thermometer. Okay, so that's that's my neck and headache simple tool video. I hope this is helpful for someone out there. If you are, doing all these things at home and you still find that you're struggling and you're not getting relief, that there is lots of things that therapists, physiotherapists particularly, can help with to facilitate you to find these exercises easier, or to give you a bit more direction about which ones might be more beneficial for you. So having a proper assessment and getting some treatment can certainly be very helpful. We're here if you need us. The information is here on this slide. If you scan that QR code, that takes you to the booking page of our website. So I hope this has been a helpful video, and I'll see you at the next one.